Jacksonville got its first playoff win since 2017 after completing the third largest comeback in postseason history. And I think a lot of the top contenders in the AFC are vulnerable in key areas. So the Jags actually have a legitimate shot at competing for a Super Bowl before their window is actually supposed to start. And after watching the film, there are 4 players that I want to highlight who each had great performances against LA. And if Jacksonville is able to continue on this run, it'll be on the backs of these players. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe. Also check us out on all our social medias. You can find the links for those in the description below. We're going to start with Trevor Lawrence, who had a disastrous first half, 4 interceptions, but he really turned it around in the second half and showed the resiliency that you want to see from your franchise quarterback. In my opinion, Trevor Lawrence's first half performance wasn't nearly as bad as the box score would suggest. He threw 4 interceptions, but only 2 of those were really his fault. PFF actually charted him with only 1 turnover-worthy play. And this first one's probably where the most disagreement would be. I know PFF's pretty lenient about tip passes. Joey Bosa starts his pass rush, but then drops off into coverage. But Trevor Lawrence is reading the other side of the field because it's an RPO, so he isn't really looking for Joey Bosa. And when he decides to pull it and throw the slant, it gets tipped and intercepted. So not a great play, but nothing he should be getting too much heat over. He had a couple interceptions where it seemed like he was expecting Asante Samuel Jr. to put up less resistance at the top of the route. This first one, Samuel gets away with a pass interference. Lawrence is expecting Zay Jones to be able to come back to the football, but Asante Samuel holds him and ends up making the interception. So that one isn't his fault at all. And then we'll skip ahead to the 4th interception. Jacksonville's running double digs with Christian Kirk and Evan Engram, and Engram isn't able to create any separation, but Lawrence still forces it into him. So this is probably 75% on Lawrence, 25% on Evan Engram. And then this interception is the one I would say is 100% on Trevor Lawrence, but it's still understandable how the Chargers were able to trick him with this coverage disguise. Up until this point, Jacksonville had run 11 passing plays, and the Chargers played man coverage on 8 of those snaps. They motioned Kirk across the formation, and Michael Davis follows him, which is a pretty clear man coverage indicator. So pre-snap, everything LA is showing looks like cover 1 robber, and the Jags have a mesh concept called, which is a man coverage beater, but the Chargers are actually playing cover 2 zone. So Trevor Lawrence takes the snap, he's expecting man coverage, so Evan Engram running this drag route should have a ton of open space after the catch, but with cover 2, Asante Samuel Jr. is playing this flat route, so he slides in front of the pass for his 2nd interception. So regardless of how you split up the blame for those 4 interceptions, there's no debate that Trevor Lawrence had a terrible, sloppy first half, but the fact that he was able to maintain his composure and lead a 27-point comeback in the second half, that makes you feel really good about his prospects as a franchise quarterback, but also his ability in the short term to lead this team down the stretch in the playoffs. I also thought Doug Peterson did a nice job adjusting to what was a pretty solid game plan from Brandon Staley. The Chargers were leaving a lot of open space on the sidelines all game, and in the second half, Jacksonville finally started dialing up concepts to attack that. The second player that I want to highlight is edge rusher Josh Allen. He started off the year really strong, and I thought that he was poised for a breakout, but then he went 8 weeks without recording a sack, and so my expectations for Josh Allen went back down to him being a starting caliber edge rusher, but not necessarily a snap-to-snap high-impact player. But over the last few weeks when it's mattered the most, Josh Allen has been the best player on Jacksonville's defense. He leads the NFL with 23 pressures over the last 3 weeks, and he's been making a lot of plays in pass coverage. So having consistent pass rushing production while you're still waiting for Trayvon Walker to develop is going to be huge when you get into 3rd and medium, 3rd and long situations against teams like Kansas City and Buffalo. The third player that I want to highlight is right tackle Jawan Taylor. He was a 2nd round pick out of Florida in 2019, and his first 2 or 3 years in the NFL were pretty rough. But every time I watch Jacksonville, Jawan Taylor's a rock on the right side of the line, and I thought he did a great job when he was matched up with Joey Bosa. That played a huge role in Trevor Lawrence having time to throw in the second half. And then the final player we're going to discuss is Travis Etienne. I was not a fan of this pick, but over the course of this season, he's proven his value to the Jaguars offense. With Etienne, they have someone who can automatically get the edge on the defense. And so when you get into short yardage situations, whether it's the goal line, 4th and 1, being able to combine the QB sneak, which is already unstoppable, with horizontal stretch, that just gives you such an advantage over the defense. So the Jags are in 4th and 1 right here. They could easily convert this with the QB sneak that they're showing, but then you're looking at a really difficult game-winning kick if you aren't able to move the ball down the field anymore. So Doug Peterson does a great job of using his personnel in the exact right way and being aggressive at the appropriate time. They isolate Asante Samuel Jr. in the alley, and Travis Etienne sets them up for a chip shot. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments any players or teams that you'd like me to cover.